Hey, hi everyone, this is Mukesh Otwani once again from learn-automation.com. Today in this tutorial, I will be talking about what is environment and how we can use this environment in our Postman. Okay, so let's get started with what exactly we are going to cover in this video. So this is one of the most important topic in Postman. Okay, and environment is the basic thing that you should know in order to continue with your Postman. Okay, so we'll talk about what exactly is environment in Postman, why we need it actually, why we are doing all this, and finally how we can use this environment variables in Postman. Okay, so as the name suggests, environment, so we'll talk about environment in real time, but for the time being, technical definition is it's just a key value pair, or I will say set of variables that we are going to use for our request. Okay, so let's say we are making multiple requests. In each and every request we are using the base URL, right? So now during this environment, or in this environment, we can set couple of key value pairs that we can use. Okay, so we can also have multiple environment, depends on our requirement. So let's say I have three different environments. So let's say developer or dev, QA and prod. Okay, so I can have multiple environments and I can have multiple key value pairs in each environment and I can use it. So when you talk about what is the need of it, so let's take very basic example that let me show you this Postman. So we created this particular collection, right, in our previous tutorials. So in each request, if you notice, this is my get request, this is my post request, and this is my delete request. And guys, if you're completely new to this channel, if you haven't followed this series, then we have already discussed about this. So I will just use the same for the references. In case if you're new, please go ahead and watch my previous videos as well. So if you see in the get user, I have this particular base URL, right? Now if I just open this create user, still I have the same, and I also have the same URL for delete user. So let's assume this URL is getting changed now, right? So what I have to do, I have to update each and every request. So I have to update 3 requests now. So right now it's only 3, so I can easily go ahead and update. But what if I have 50? What if I have 100 requests? What if I have 250 requests? And if my base URL is getting changed, I have to update each and every request. That will be a very tedious task, and it is not a best practice to go ahead and modify these URLs or these base URL manually, right? We need some kind of mechanism where if something getting changed, let's say base URL, I will simply go ahead and update at one place and it should be reflected in each and every request. This is what we will be doing now. So in this case, let's say if I'm a developer, let's say I have created, let's say 50 requests, or let's say 10 requests for the time being. I've created a collection, I have used an environment, and I have only given my URL, base URL, and remaining endpoints are same. So when I have to run the same APIs in a prod environment, right, then definitely I will be having a different system URL or the different base URL. In that case, what I will do, I will simply change the environment. Environment will be, shared between all the requests. So with one environment change, all the requests will get updated, in simple words. Okay, so let me show you this part. So come back to the Postman, and as of now on the right hand side you can see I have no environment. Okay, so before we move ahead, let me show you the official documentation as well. So this is the official documentation. Just go back to Learning Center of Postman and you will read everything about the Postman environment. Okay, so basic usage, the main usage is when you have different kind of environment, let's say production, development and QA environment, you just need to maintain the standard set of key value pairs in the environment, so that in case you are changing from one environment to another environment, you don't need to change all the requests. Just go back to environments, make certain changes, and it will be reflected in all the requests that you are making. Okay, so let me show you how step by step. So first of all, you can see I have no environment because this is fresh workspace, so I have not created any environment as of now. And you can see a small gear icon where I can manage all the environment, and you can also see a quick click. The moment I click here, you can see I have two things. First of all, I have the environment variables. Second thing, I have the global variables. So now they both are actually nothing but a key or set of variables. If you see, environment is also set of variables, global variables are also set of variables. But what is the difference? We'll see in the next video. But as of now, we are focusing only on the collection. We are focusing only on the environment part. So I can edit the environment from here, but as of now we don't have any environment. Okay, so let's focus on the first environment. In the next video we'll talk about the global variables. Very interesting concept, but with a minor difference. So let's click on this gear icon, and you can see here I can create environments and I can create global variables as well. So let's click on add. In case if you have any environment already, then you can directly import. Right now we don't have any environment as such, so I'm going to click on add, and you can see now I have environment name. So let me give a QA, and this QA environment I will put a variable called, let's say, base URL. This is what we are going to do. Let's keep a URL directly. Okay, so this URL variable I will be using within my request. Now you will see two options here. One is called initial value and another called current value. So there's a small change. The current value, if you see, this will be used and it will never be synced with your Postman service. And this initial value, this will be shared within your team. Okay, in case if you're working with a team. So right now we are not having any team as such in this series right now. Once we move forward, I will tell you the difference. So just make sure you use initial values when these values are shared within your team. Okay, so as of now we don't have any team, so I will put this current URL. So just let me copy the current URL. Okay, so this is what I want to make a common between all the requests, right? Because if you see, the endpoint is different. For this endpoint is API user page 1. For create user I have a different endpoint, and delete user, you can see I have a different endpoint. But one thing which is common between all the requests is the URL, right? So I'm going to create an environment, same thing, QA. I will put a URL and I will put the current value. So when you put current value, automatically this value will be copied to initial value. In case if you don't want to maintain it, you can just keep only current value. This you can keep as blank. Automatically it will be considered. Just click on add. So you can see right now I have QA environment, and you can also see I can download this environment. I can create copy and I can share this environment as well. Okay, so now let's say I want to create one more environment. So one option which we discussed just now, I can go ahead and create a new environment, or I can just create a copy of this. So you can see QA copy. I will go ahead and click on this. I will make this as a prod. Okay, and here you can see the values are gone when we are copying. So let me put some different URL and I will put some prod. Definitely this is not the valid values. Just to show you this, I'm making these changes so that you can understand the difference when I will switch environments. Okay, so I will simply update. So now I have two environments, and now let me show you how to use it. So first of all, select the particular request, and now you just go ahead and you will see the environments that we have created. Let me select the QA environment because here we have the valid URL. Now this value we have already mentioned in our environment, right? So I will just remove this part and I will say curly braces, okay, 2 times. I will just use the variables which I have used, URL, and close. So you can see it is highlighted. When I put mouse over, so this is the good thing about Postman. It will show you the current value. Initial value we have not given, so it's blank. Current value and what is the scope. So as of now, this variable having the scope till environment, but once we talk about the global variables, you will see this scope will change. As of now, we have only one scope, that is environment, but once you talk about global variables, you will see the scope value will change. For the time being, just stick to environment. So what I will do, I will go ahead and make these changes in all the requests. Okay, so curly braces, URL, and you can see it's updated. Perfect. Now let me also change here. So just delete till here. Again, use the same variable. Fine. Now let's make a request just to see, and you can see we are actually getting the value. So if you see this test result, this was this actually is failing because of the response time. Okay, so what I can do, I can make it 500. Now if you just hit this request, you can see we got the 4 test results are passed and these values are getting updated. Perfect. Now let me do a small change. What if I put URL 1? Okay, so what you can see, first of all, it is trying to understand what is this URL 1. So when it is not able to understand, it will show you that this variable is not defined in the active collection, environment or global. So it is actually searching in collection first of all, then environment, and last at global. So we'll talk about the scope. So it is actually trying to search in all the scopes. Okay, so in case it is coming in red color, then it means it's not valid. If it is coming into green, it means it's a valid variable. And now you can see E means environment. Clear? Now let me do one thing. Let me change it to prod. So now if you just see, can you see the updated value? It's prod 1, sorry, request prod.in, and all the requests that we have updated, you will see the updated values, right? So this is the must feature that you should have. So definitely you need to have environments, otherwise maintenance of the request will be very tough. Even a small changes in the base URL can create a lot of maintenance. You need to go and update, but that is the power of environment. Just change this which environment you want and maintain your key value pairs, and it will be updated. And in case if you want to just quickly change it, let's say I'm selected this prod environment. The moment I click on this I option, I can directly see the values which I have. So in case if I have to update, I can go ahead and update from here. That's all. So now if you come down here, can you see new value got updated? So that's a quick feature that I wanted to discuss about the Postman, that when you work in real time, you will get this environment, and whenever you need to make any changes, go ahead and make the changes directly from here. Okay, and in case if you want to manage direct collections, environments, you can manage from here. Perfect. So in the next videos, we'll talk about more about the scopes and the global variables that we have to use. What is the difference? Because in interviews as well, mostly question will come from the environment, scopes, variables. So make sure this concept is clear to everyone. Okay, so I guess you got the idea. In case you still have any doubt, feel free to ask me in the comment section, or you can mail me. And if you like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.